02s, welcome to 0203's, 0 creative channel, 0 whichever fucking name I can think of. What am I going to call it? 0 the 3rd, 0, that was it, 0 the 3rd. Hopefully no one will see this so that I can just do my little thing, which is so we did a little thing on the Batter series, and one thing it allowed me to do was just chill out a little bit, make a couple of videos that a few people but not everybody was interested in, and that was the point. It was kind of catering for the few over the many because it was doing something I liked, and giving a chance to sort of know who it is who's time you invested in, you know. So I, you know, yeah, so with that said, there's a lot more to it all than just the show Battered. I mean, that was just a year of or a couple of years of you know, an enterprising thought. So it makes sense to start somewhere and say, well, look, you know, we've been asked for an FAQ, and now asked for this. Consider this the longest FAQ in the world, and this would be part one, the introduction. And you know, and we are, what's the word? Yeah, we're so every time is going to be difficult for me. It's not difficult, but every time is going to be different for me because it's like because the way things are happening around us naturally. I'm up, down, and we all are, aren't we? So it's gonna be some times where it's gonna be probably me laughing way too much or not enough. But you know, again, it's partly so I can have a play with the equipment. It's partly to relax a bit, and partly for those people that give a damn about, like I say, who it is that they're getting behind, that they're wasting their time on or not, you know. And I thought I'd start off actually with, because I'm not going to linger on here tonight. Because you know, the moment you see, when you do a live stream like I do, it's all off the top of your head, and you know the moment, not the moment you turn on, maybe the first couple of minutes you turn on, you know whether, not how long you're going to be on. Sometimes I'll won't realize that until it's way past the time that I thought, but you know what, I don't know how to explain it. It's a bit like when I pick up the guitar. I know if I'm going to be able to play the guitar or whether I'm really going to be able to make some music. And it's the same thing with the camera. You never know how you're actually going to feel till you turn it on. And then once the camera's on, bang, you know instantly, oh, this is going to be a second-rate performance. This will be great. That you just know. You just that feeling. I imagine it's probably the same for certain sports as well. You just have those days. So anyway, let me just show you something. One second. If I can find it, 1 second. Oh jeez. There we go. Okay, so this, my friends, this is a typical summer's night. Where where is that a typical summer's night? That is a typical summer's night on the Isle of Wight in a place called St. Catherine's. That's St. Catherine's Lighthouse. And that actually doesn't even do certain. I mean, that does a bit of lightning justice, but it doesn't do certain things justice. Let me just have a very, very quick look, because this is a photographer who goes there every year, because he knows what I know, and that is that I watch. Hang on, let me just change this over 1 second. I watch every summer as storms go look like they're coming straight at us, and they turn around and they go away again, and they literally will go and brush up right next to the other way, and then they go away again. And you'll see this from where I am by seeing these faint flashes. You know something's happening, and if you're on the Isle of Wight, you can tell a bit more. And if you're where St. Catherine's Lighthouse is, you can see it, and you could just sit there so many nights, because it's always on the piece of France between, I don't know, sort of Calais region. There's always thunderstorms brewing there in the summer, and they're always huge. And then if they can make the trip across the water, they will. And let me just see if I can. Sorry about this. Let's bring up some images, because like I said, there's a guy that goes over every year and gets these images, and the stuff that he gets out, like he gets stuff out at sea, for instance. There's a couple there actually. He gets stuff at sea, and the ones that he's got at sea are phenomenal. I saw one that was just a wall of lightning coming down. Can't see it here, but I can see one out at sea. Let's have a look. Can you see that? Let me make that bigger first. Oh, not that big. And then see if you can see it. No, you can't, right? So, not that one. Oh, toss it. Hang on a minute. So, is that the one? Where's the other one? Shit, that one. Yeah, there we go. So, again, this isn't the best one. There's one where you just see these. One, the lightning's better, but two, it's just a shitstorm from one side of the sky to the other, just pounding, pounding the ground, pounding the sea. And the one thing people don't. Someone said to me recently I was wrong about the fact that all rain starts with snow. Absolutely, I am not wrong about that. But yeah, this is a special sort of place, because in Britain we have more tornadoes per square mile than Tornado Alley does in America. And we generally have a lot of what you might class as storms. However, a majority of them, due to things like the tropopause or the lack of updraft or whatever, a lot of them don't reach, and also as well, we don't have the crosswinds to near the magnitude like they have from Canada, Canada and Mexico mixing together. So it's nowhere near the same strength, but we will. So a lot of the tornadoes that happen here will go unnoticed, because they might be an F1, F2, and they might last, I don't know, sometimes 30 seconds, sometimes 3 minutes, and they're gone. Some never, just like in America, obviously, some never touch down, but it's a lot more the case here. And don't get me wrong, for that 30 seconds, they are nothing but destruction. And there's a place down near me called Cowshot, one of the beaches I've taken you to, and a brief touchdown there caused a tree over 100 years old. Shame, really. A tree over 100 years old to be ripped out of the ground. And three of the beach huts were just taken. All I can tell you was that I went down the next day, gutted I'd missed yet another tornado up close. I see it's frozen, guys. No, it's stuck for a minute. I was gutted that uh I missed another tornado up close, and oh, I fucking lost myself now. That's really put me off. Hang on a minute. Um, shit, let me just get ready to get this sorted because it's doing me head and it's put me off completely. Tossing thing. I'm glad I can edit stuff. But I do this. All right, I'll be right back. Right, so yeah, I'll have to edit that out if I choose to use this. So, where was I? I can't actually remember now. So I know we were on St. Catherine's. So, well, anyway, what I do remember is saying that it's a weird place for storms, because because rest of Britain, rest of Britain does, like I say, gets them. I think I was talking about, I think I was talking about the frequency of tornadoes actually. That was it. I was telling you how a tree was 100 years old got pulled up, and then the beach huts were hilarious because all that was left of them when I got down there in the morning was just, I think there's about 4, 5 beach huts, something like that, maybe 3, I don't know. But I just remember going down there and all you could see was the concrete foundation still laid in the ground. Everything else had just been ripped up. Um, and that was quite cool because I just thought that was funny. But the tree wasn't so funny. I was gutted about that. But so that gives you an idea of just the raw power of something like that, even when it's not a not a strong one and doesn't even last very long, but it still managed to just that brief touchdown, ripped up, I don't know, let's say four small buildings and a tree. Um, so there's a lot around that bit of coastline, all the way up from me, all the way around. So, but you so rarely get to see it. The majority of the time, if it's not a majority of the time when you're sleeping in the summer, you're sleeping through a thunderstorm, and especially if you're my end of the country. So the whole time this is going on, you've got what you're seeing on screen there happening out so many nights during the summer. Whether it's that close, whether it's further away, the distance does change, which actually can change the color of the lightning as well. But um, pretty much, I don't know, I can't say how many nights, but quite a lot of nights per year. That scene there is going on at different distances, but it's going on. Um, One of the places you can actually go and guarantee it if the weather's right for storms. Oh, see, sorry, I see there's been people in the chat. So if you're still there, hi, yeah. If you're not, I'm really sorry. I was thinking I was recording this alone. I didn't even really realize we were going out live. So my apologies if anyone's there. Sorry. I'm just rude now. Well, anyway, I hope everyone's okay. If you do see this, um, yeah. So, I can't remember what was what. So the reason for showing you this, one other than it just being cool, is because, um, well, to 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 get to know me, then one of the first things you need to understand is thunderstorms and how exciting I find them. But also the Isle of Wight and it's a huge part. It's funny. I only lived there when I worked it out. I only lived there for about 2 years, but it it took up it feels like it took up a lot more, and it definitely has had an impact on my life, lifelong impact being over there. You know, I made lifelong friends. Um, I've made new friendships over. I say new; they're not new now. They're a few years old now, but I made newer friendships. And there's just something about that place that you know. When I went there, when I moved there, I was 20 years old, and it's funny because I had so many good times there. I met my friend Archer there, and Archer's going to be coming on one night with me to talk about some stuff that I won't remember, um, and probably give you quite a good giggle at some of the stuff that I forget. But he was going to come on at some point. I don't know, in the next few days. Um, but he was a fucking funny guy, and we used to get up to all kinds of stuff. But he also was, a real cool kind of guy who honestly, he was probably. I never told him at the time because we all used to wouldn't call each other names that I can't repeat now. But he was probably one of the hardest things to actually leave. Um, because like how to put it, my relationship over there had soured. Um, and some of my friendships over there I realized weren't worth much. And so there was a lot of things you started to realize, certain people you started to realize what they're about, that kind of thing. Um, but yeah, over time all that becomes revealed, doesn't it? And he was one of these people that um, it didn't matter how much time. He's one of these people that it reminds me of actually Katie. One of these people that the more time you invest, the more actually the better it gets. The more you get to know them, and the more interesting they get. And it's always been that way with him. And I like people like that. And then, funny enough, the opposite will put me off. So if a person wants to get to know you and be your best friend in a day, I don't know about you, but I find that off-putting. I find they may mean nothing by it, but I just personally find it a little bit uncomfortable. And I always think, why are you trying so hard? And I get a little bit suspicious. And I also get suspicious, not necessarily that they got evil intent, but just simply that if you're that full on, that quick, that you're probably gonna get to a point that's way too high, and then it's all gonna come crashing down for that person as their expectations are blown away. Um, because they've either put you on a pedestal or your friendship on it, whatever. Do you know what I mean? That happens all the time, or it does to me. Um, Especially when you make videos, because people always, when I was making videos before, you're always putting your best foot forward. It's not like, I've been doing mental health videos, so you're not necessarily doing that. But before, you used to put my best foot forward. So I used to do that on Facebook a lot when I was helping people. So you get these people that would, and to be honest with you, you get women that would sort of want help, but really want a bit of attention, which I always think on Facebook's, dodgy anyway, but and that wasn't what I was there for. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't the attention to be given attention. It was just to help a few people out. But they were soon disappointed when they realized that the guy in the video and me were the same people, except the guy in the video was how to put it. One, he was me on my best moment of all my best features put together. But two, he couldn't answer back, and yeah, you could pretend he's anything you wanted to. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, so I realized the danger of that a long time ago. I need to stop this because screen frozen again, isn't it? Let me see if I can do anything. Oh, I see. There's some people. Hey, you guys. Hey, Jason. Hey, Helen. Hey, Vicky. Good to see you. Sorry, I know I'm acting like, well, I did think I was alone, but I'm just I'm here to cure your insomnia. Think of this as this is ASMR um Storm Fury version. I'm gonna see if I can unstick this fucking screen again because it's in my head. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Yeah, I was just gonna ramble. So we did, like I said, I was saying at the beginning, I did some stories of the I did some stories of the previous video stuff. But but like I say, this kind of gives me a chance to do a few things, and one is that's play with videos, play with the new intros, play with stuff like that, which is handy to do off the main channel. There's a few people that actually have always wanted like an FAQ or that kind of thing. So that kind of caters for those few people. Again, not mainstream. And well, if it serves to help people go to fucking sleep, even better because we'll get some thunder sounds on or something to help people get some sleep. So, and also I find it cathartic for me to talk about some of this stuff. I don't know why, just do, just because I like to fucking tell stories and ramble, I suppose. But as I was saying at the beginning, every day is going to be different at the moment. One day I'm going to be telling a story with a smile and a chuckle. Next day, all serious, and not much you can do about it. But I think we're all in the same boat. So, you know, having said that, do you know what? Do you know what? Let's see if I can get this on. Probably can't hear that, but don't want to make it too loud because it's going to fuck me if I try. I bet yeah, it's going to fuck me in a minute. Anyway, so. So I don't know if you can hear this or not, it's just making me laugh. I know it's gonna fuck me in a minute. Yeah, so the picture of the Isle of Wight and stuff. So there's two things out of that, and it's all crucial really because my life was changed unalterably when I was 20, and just turned 20. I moved to the Isle of Wight, and and I went from liking thunderstorms to absolutely adoring them. And those things set a bar for the future. Um, One I didn't know I was setting at the time because thing is I got a lot of interest, so um, it's not unusual for me to go from A to B to C. I was very surprised I stuck out this filming business this long. Did it stuck again? Oh, for fuck's sake! Oh, do you know? I'm not in the mood. In the mood, you can't. All right, let's try that. Green screen's off. Hopefully that'll help. If it doesn't, then I'm gonna bash the shit out of it. So, right, I try again. Yeah. So the weather and the Isle of Wight are sort of entrenched. And so a couple of years before I moved there, I think I was about 18. And the Isle of Wight had always been there. I've been there when I was younger. And the one thing about me is like anywhere in Britain is still fucking Britain, you know. There's some weirdos on the Isle of Wight that will actually say things like, "I'm going to England tomorrow," and they just mean they're going to the mainland. But I'm going to England tomorrow. That's not an exaggeration. That's literally what some very few that some people say. Mainland makes more sense. I understand why people say that, but yeah. Um, couple of people over there say I'm going to England tomorrow, and I find that fucking hilarious. But they are very proud. They're very proud of the island. A lot of them are very proud of the island and very, you know, um, defensive of it in a lot of ways. But it's understandable. It's a beautiful place, and so there's the fun to fuck me. And so like I said, when I was 18, I had I think a 125, but it was like a TZR 125. You know, went fast for a guy at that age, and went for a ride with my friend around the Isle of Wight. It'd always been there, but it was British, and for me, you know, what was the fun in that? But took the bikes around the Isle of Wight and didn't go racing around. Just took it all in. Beautiful sunny day. Took it all in. Spent all day going around. I remember spending a lot of time in Sandown down the beach and that, and just really took it in. And remember thinking, yeah, this is nice over here. Don't know if I could live here though. Don't know if I could live here. 2 years later, 2 years later, I'm moving over there, and that's because of a woman. I met a woman over there who told me she was 15 years my senior. She wasn't. She was something like 22 years my senior. Um, and so yeah, go into a relationship on that kind of premise, and the only some good things came out of that because I never had kids of my own, and as I've always said, it's always been, I don't know. uh, I've never known whether that's right or wrong thing. It's right in some ways, and I know it's right in some ways, but in other ways, I don't know. It's experience. It's this experience I've robbed myself, and I just hope I have robbed myself. I hope I've robbed myself of it for the reasons that I think that I have. You know what I'm saying? You think they're noble reasons. I just hope they are. Um, but yeah. Sorry, I'm forgetting where I was going with that. But I did get a chance to at least spend a few years bringing up someone else's kid and finding that finding that special little person that you will actually think that you can't clean their puke up, but you actually can, and you think that you can't do this and you can't do that, and suddenly you can. For this one little person, you can do all these things, and yeah, you know that made me aware of many things. Made me when she used to. I don't want to go too far into this because it's still even to this day breaks my heart. But she used to say to me some nights, she was such a sweetie. And she'd be in bed, and she used to go, her mum would go in first, say goodnight to her, and then I'd come in, sit on the bed, give her a cuddle, have a little chat, and then I'd go. And remember this night, her mum said to me, there's many nights like this, but her mum said to me, could you go in and have a word with her? I said, yeah, sure. But that's like, not how it normally goes. And I go in, and she's there, and she's like, question she asked me is, why does my dad not love me? All right, she was 8 years old, and I remember being just instantly brokenhearted for her because the thing of it was, and I'm not even kidding here. The thing of it was, the thing that I wouldn't even say to her today is her dad probably didn't love her, or at least if he did, not in any way that mattered. And as I said, I wouldn't even say that today. And I remember just putting my arms around her and saying to her, I am certain that he absolutely does love you. Um, and I told a fib, which felt bad for, but there was nothing else that she needed to hear that night than that. I knew that. And I don't regret saying that because it wasn't true, but it was what she needed to hear. And I just remember how she squeezed me that night as well. Just, to be 8 years old and then to be saying, why does my dad not love me? You know, um, and to be so certain of it and probably to be right as well, but not me not telling her that. You know, it's just sucks. And anyway, so me and her became very attached very quick. And I think because I was younger, I was like 21 then, turning 21 then, by the time I was sort of developing this relationship with her. Um, Her mum used to, after doing 2 days work a week, used to go and sleep till about 2, 3 in the afternoon. So her daughter used to have to walk down a couple of miles to a floating bridge, then on this floating bridge from East Cows to West Cows to herself, and then another couple of miles at least up to a school for herself, 8 years old. So I used to walk her pretty much most mornings, except when her mum took her. I used to walk her to school, and honestly, I think because I was that bit younger, I wasn't quite old enough to be dad age, really. You know, I couldn't have been her biological dad, but I was old enough to be more than big brother. It meant that she would listen to me when I needed her to, but we were both so fucking childish that we were just doing stupid shit and finding each other funny. Um, which just shows you how childish I am. Because I'm finding an 8-year-old hilariously funny, being an idiot. But we used to do this, and I used to carry her halfway to school and just fuck around with her, and we used to just have a great laugh. And she still remembers it this day. Just we had a really good time, and I remember, you know, yeah, just absolutely adoring her, and never really admitting that even to myself. I would tell her that in my own way. I would just say I love, I loved her and stuff, but never really admitted, just how much of a, she had a massive impact on me, massive impact on my life, everything. And so I'm grateful for that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go on this tangent, but I'm really grateful for that experience. And leaving was that one of the hardest things I had to do for a couple of reasons. One I've already mentioned, which was Dan. Second one, like you can imagine her, can't you? I mean, one, she was in bits, but I knew that she would. Well, I thought she would pull herself together. It actually ended up not being that simple. But the truth it was, is I didn't want to leave her either, and I tried everything I could to stay on that island. I was begging people to let me rent fucking places, and you name it. I went round day after day after day, asking door after door after door, place after place, phone call after phone call. And the problem is, the Isle of Wight is it's pretty much as a status quo there. It's very hard to find good jobs and very hard to find good places to stay because most things are pretty much taken. So I had to come home, and I always promised myself I'd go back, move back. I didn't. I've never moved back, and I still to this day would like to move back. And I found somewhere that place I showed you at the end of the summer. I'd love to go and move there, but Being's movement has stopped me, um, and that's okay because hopefully it'll still be there. Um, although, although you know, there's part of me that just wants to fuck off there now. If I'm honest with everything, there is part of me that just wants to fuck off now. Um, yeah, bollocks to everything in some ways and just go and enjoy that little piece you've got left. But in another way, it's like that's selfish and, you know, if not you, then who? Someone with kids? That's not fair. So, you can't, when you get back down to reality, you think, no, it has to be you. You don't have kids. That's part of the point. So it has to be me. Um, Yeah, you hear a lot of people come on here and they say it has to be me, right? And it's like fucking messiah complex or what? Yeah, it doesn't have to be them. We're all replaceable. All of us are replaceable. All of us, and that's a good thing. Um, Interchangeable, and that's a good thing. And it's like me with that, I forgot what I'm saying. Fucking hell. It's not good, is it? It's not good. You know what? I've had more sleep. I had much better sleep last night than I've had in ages. So I feel a lot better than I was, but my memory's still not quite recovered. It's getting better, but it's not quite recovered. Um, yeah, so I loved my time over the Isle. I lived in East Cowes, which they lovingly refer to as Monkey Town, um, because it's quite a poor area. It was underdeveloped, and yeah, pretty much left to shit. Um, I mean, when I lived there, and I'm pretty sure it's probably different now. Probably. When I lived there, used to be a drug dealer's house every four houses in West Cows. Every fourth or fifth house would be a drug dealer's house. It's hilarious. That was back when the what was it? Yeah, in the 90s when things were booming and everything was so cheap that everybody could afford to sell anything they wanted to. It's hilarious. So um, people think the Isle of Wight is this place where old people go to retire and nothing interesting ever happens there. It's like if only you knew. If only you knew. Not the best place in the world to sell cars. Sorry, steal cars. No, admittedly, stupid. But anything else goes. I remember hearing the story there. I think the police took the Hells Angels, arrested a couple of Hells Angels and took their jobs. And I think I remember, and I think this being accurate, that the Hells Angels raided the police. Raided the police. I don't know. They have a place where they stash this kind of stuff. They raided the police stuff and went and got their stash back. And by their stash back, I'm just presuming they went and got enough drugs from it that pleased them anyway. Um, so yeah, lovely retirement place. And then you got, I don't know about now, we used to have Plessy's and that over there, which would be, working on the latest fuck you up kind of technology, um, going. So it was definitely more than this old little island, but at the same time, so much history. That's why I mean, when I started this podcast, I started on Periscope, and I started it pretty much for real on the Isle of Wight because it was the hottest summer we'd had in years, and because I always wanted to start this podcast abroad, to be honest, in the real heat. I don't know why I had something attracts me about doing this in a really hot climate, but I'm walking and walking and walking. Um, but yeah, I keep forgetting. But do you know what? I can't keep doing this. Literally can't keep doing this because it's gonna knock my confidence if I keep doing it. I think I need to get some more sleep. But okay, so I'm gonna wrap up. So really, it's just really an introduction into saying, look, I'm gonna do some videos. They're if you they are not okay. So I'm gonna need to put this into video somehow. They are not zero news. They are me, and they are what's behind zero news, and it's a massively important distinction. And so what I really need to do is kind of have a social media for putting out just this kind of stuff, and everything else. Because what's happening is at the moment I'm putting it all out on the same place, and people are assuming that episodes. I wouldn't call this an episode. Recordings I do like this are mixed in with all the zero news recordings. They're assuming they're one and the same. The same effort was put into them, everything. So it's kind of messing things up for me because people are kind of thinking, why on earth do I want to watch this? And because they don't realize they're not watching zero news, they're watching something else. So I need to kind of figure that one out. Yeah, but I will. So yeah, but anyway, so let's go to a little intro. And zero the third. I thought we got 02s as second channel, so zero the third. I don't know why, just why not? And yeah, we're gonna have Archer on, and he's gonna go through some stuff with me because he remembers so much of when I was there and other stuff as well. And he always goes, yeah, and he remembers stuff. So it'll be able to take me back through a lot of stuff as well, and just also focus on a lot of the important points, especially while my head's like this. Um, I just wish I could get my head back, and I can see we've gone frozen again. So we'll wrap up here because I really don't have the patience because I've got a green screen on now. So I'll just say, yeah, it's just an introduction, nothing more. So not super exciting, but just an introduction into, yeah, gonna go and gonna explain. I've explained the Isle of Wight and the weather, and then we'll look into the personality and the things that came from, not just from that, but from before that, and just and also as well, not chronologically. I'm not here to tell a chronological story from beginning to end, not missing a detail. It's not what I want to do. I just want to randomly attack pieces of time that over a period of time will build up a collage picture. Because at the end of the day, it's not for me to try and paint you who I am. It's up to you to decide for yourself what you see. And that's the important part of it all. Anyway, with that, I am quite had enough of the constant what's the word? Oh, it's still working on the thingy. My screen's frozen on here. I didn't realize it was still working. Well, regardless, it's getting on my nerves. Um, did I go to any of the festivals? No, I never did. When I was living there. I was 20. So, but I didn't. No, I didn't. That's actually true. I know we were gonna do it one year, and things never happened. It's funny when you're there, the things that you don't do. It's like anything. Um, but I did get up to plenty of stuff there. I mean, Osborne houses on the Isle of Wight. I mean, there was a place. Sorry, I'm looking up because that's where your comments are. On in Osborne House. I don't know what it's like now, but it used to be a place, little fence. It used to be a little tiny little hole in this fence. And so you'd have a look through this hole, and you wait for the security guard to go by. And he's not now going to come. He's going this circular route like a lazy fuck that he is. So he's not going to come back round now for X amount of minutes. So you go right, okay, slip into the grounds. You get on the grounds. It's all private, and you're now in Osborne House illegally. Not in the house, but you're on the grounds. And then you wait. You get to these bushes, or whatever, and you wait for matey to go around, and then you go to this field, and it's just a normal, overgrown, kind of fenced off, weird, like cows field in the middle of what should be Osborne House's gardens. It's really strange, but it's really strange what's in there. It's just like, hey, we own this land for the sake of it, so we don't give a fuck about it. But it has been left in its totally natural state. So as a result, you go, so you wait for the security guard to go over, and you make a little dash for it over this gravel path straight to this field. And this field, only a few people know about it. This field, this is where you used to go every October, go and get your magic mushrooms from. You used to go get your magic mushroom, fill up your fucking bag, whatever, and then do what you could to kind of redistribute the mushrooms, and then make your way back, wait for security guard to go back again, and then work your way out. All because they left. Like I was quite thin back then, and a very very shallow gap, but enough for someone like me. I mean, I used to work in confined spaces. They gave me confined space training, which was hilarious because I was like, why are you bothering? I'm just so comfortable. And I think it was because I was small though. I could just pretty much do anything in any space. And I remember I remember going down just quickly. I remember going down the bottom of a boat on the first boats I worked on the mainland on in Southampton. Hive, place called Hive in Southampton. And you go there's like a bilge pipe thing there. And it is literally you got a hole on end that is I don't want to exaggerate. I could do with like an inch size. It's like you got a whole one side that you can just about fit a 9 stone man through if you know, maybe, right? But thing is, it's got a very small bottom, so you can't just climb into the hole because it's not very tall either. It's basically the round about the height of a coffin. So you have to crawl into this hole, kind of from above and into it. So you've just climbed into a stinking oil-filled pipe, basically, that is up to there, or no, maybe a little bit further down, actually, be fair. And you your your shoulders are being squashed against you because you've really got no room to move. You can't move your head. If you move your head upwards like that, you're going to bang it because it's already got pressure on it from the pipe above. And you've got to clean this pipe. And you need to. It's not something you can just pass off. It has to be done. These boats were very old. If it wasn't done, then you know it could mess up the whole thing. So so I'm like, okay, I'm all right with this. So mate, he's saying to me, because you always have to have a man stand at the end of that hole, because otherwise you've got nobody safe. It's anybody who's worked in any kind of similar setting will know what I'm talking about. You've always got to have a man at the top of the hole. So guy's saying to me, you're right, and I'm like, yeah, just working out how to actually move forwards and backwards. And you kind of get into this little shuffle when you realize you are literally moving a centimeter at a time. Do you know what I mean? Just inching your way. And because the other thing that you're carrying, unbelievably, is a fucking light, electric light with a cable around it. So I got about halfway down. I mean, it could have been further, it could have been less, but let's just say roughly halfway down this fucking pipe. And by the way, there's no big story here, so don't get excited. But I got halfway down this pipe. I tied my fucking legs together. It was just unfortunate, but somehow the cable had wrapped around my legs and then somehow gone through itself or gone through the gap between my two legs and created like a knot. And I can't bend my legs because if I try and bend my legs, I'm going to hit the top of the pipe. There's not that much room, so I can't bend my legs to reach them. It's not like I can sit up and reach them. I can't put my hands behind me and reach them. That's not going to happen either. There's like literally no way of touching your feet with your hands. None, zero. It's not going to happen. Same time, you can't just go to one of the holes and sort it out because you can't move. And I was becoming aware that the more I started to move in this lovely coffin, the more I started trying to move forward, the tighter it was getting. So I remember just having to. Oh, it's kind of horrible, but I remember just saying to myself, "There's a reason why you're down here and they're not, and it's because you can handle it and they can't." And I know that sounds arrogant, but I needed to tell myself something like this at the time. But that connection is bad, isn't it? And I remember just thinking, you know, that's why you're down here because you can handle it. They can't, and that actually calmed me right down. And so I was like, well, not that I was that bad anyway, but it just got me right at that fucking totally relaxed level, and I just laid there. Mate, at the end I was going, "You all right?" And I went, "Yep." He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Figuring it out." He's like, "You do realize I can't come and get you, don't you?" I said, "Yep, that's why I'm figuring it out." And he's like, "Well, your humor's still there, so okay." And let's just say I worked it out. That's quite literally almost the truth. I worked it out, but I got it as untied as enough as I could so that it stopped tightening itself. Otherwise, it would have stuck me in place. But the cord would have got too tight, and literally there would have been no way out. So I just managed to get it to stop tightening, so that although it was still wrapped around my legs and difficult to move, it would just the oil and that was now allowing it to just go through my legs as opposed to keeping me trapped in this fucking coffin. And I came up the other end, and fucking matey's face when I got up the other end, he was terrified. He was terrified. He was terrified that he might have to try and come in there, which he wouldn't have had to do because you don't send one person into a hole after another and then send another person. It's like that's the dumb way of doing it. You go and get a load of people and you figure out how to solve the problem. But nevertheless, you know, he realised that had I not been able to get out, you know, and also if I'd panicked, I mean, I don't know what proper claustrophobia is like because, like I say, I can work in these kinds of spaces quite unbothered, but I have had claustrophobic moments where I'm inside something that's genuinely in danger, and I know I'm in danger and I can't see shit. If it's anything like that, it must be pretty terrifying. Other people I'm talking about, it must be pretty scary. If they feel like that, then I could sort of have I can have sympathy with them. But for me, it was just like staying control. I don't even think my breathing really raised, or I don't think I remember breaking a sweat as such. I did with the crawling and that, but yeah. And so the other guy looked worried when I got up the other side, but I was all right. I was just like, you know, it does make you reflect a little bit. Don't get me wrong. You have these little moments. I mean, I've had so many like that, but to tell you worse than that was the first day I took medication. I took medication, and this is really hard to explain unless you've been to a boatyard. But if you're standing on the deck of a boat, right, especially when you're painting up that was made in the 1940s, the manhole covers, right, what you want to call them, the bulkheads are open because you're getting in and out there to go and paint different places, get access to different parts of the boat, yeah? So back then, because they were retards, they didn't put anything around it to say, hey, look. So it was just up to you to use your common sense to make sure you didn't walk over an open bulkhead. So one day I took medication for the first time, as told to by the doctor. Took medication for the first time, and I walked over this bulkhead twice, totally aware that it was there, stepped over it twice. So I knew it was there. Third time, I completely forgot it was there. And I went down like that. And the reason I make the slap at the end of it is because that slap was my bollocks stroke my groin smacking up against the bulkhead. And although it nearly broke my fucking groin, if it wasn't for my fall being broken by my groin, I would have had about a 25 to 30 foot fall straight down on metal that also not just metal but metal that was sticking upright in an arch, and in some places like that or like that. Death or carnage, guaranteed either way. If that forward had happened, I would have been done for, messed up for life. And I was saved by the fact that I landed on the way down through that hole. That hole caught me by the bollocks and by the not by the bollocks, but by the groin area. Fucking hurt for days. Couldn't walk properly for days. Probably saved my life. So yeah, and it was just a moment of not thinking, a moment of just not being present was all it took. And matey I was working with said, I think I better go down there, didn't you? And I was like, I'm not going to argue at the moment. I don't think we're really in a position to argue. Fuck, it hurt. It really hurt. But yeah, you know, just another day in the life of Tom Fury. Anyway, so I'll leave it there. Just a little introduction. And I'm sorry if it's not the best. I'm just not feeling totally up for it today. And this keep fucking freezing is not amusing me either. So I will join you next time, hopefully soon with Archer, and we'll run you through a few things. Like I say, because he's got such good memory remembering things. So we'll have a chat with him, and yeah. and we'll dig deep and we'll reminisce not just for the old times, but also when we first started doing news. And he took me to this fucking place and tried to get me to climb up this fucking hill where I made a complete fool out of myself. And then at the end of it, when it was his turn to try, he tried for about like 15 seconds and then just took another route. And I thought, why the fuck have I just struggled for like 45 minutes making a cunt of myself? So yeah, he got me good, really. So I think he should come on and explain himself. Anyway, if there's anybody still around, thank you so much for being here. And otherwise, yeah, just a teeny weeny little bit more about me for anybody that gives a fuck. And for me, a teeny little bit more chance to analyze the results I get from the videos, and also just what's the word? Just a chance to let off a bit of steam as well. So appreciated. Good night, old man. You take it easy. And good night, everyone else. Tom's Fury for what am I going to call? Yeah, Richard the Third. Tom's not Richard the Third. For sorry for zero third. That's it. Tom's Fury for zero third, and I am calling it a day for now.